And welcome on into Wager Weekly for a week 3 in the NFL. We're going to break down your Sunday card. We're going to go in your Nevada rotation order. And joining me as he does each and every week is Paul Nolan to break all these games down. Mr. Nolan, an interesting week 2. Here we are into week 3. Man, we wait all summer for the season to get here, and it goes so fast when we get here already into week 3.
Yeah, I mean, it flies. 17 weeks are going to come and go in no time. But right now, early in the week, it's a Wednesday. We're getting ahead of some of the early games, some of the games that we're interested in. Some of the decisions we make are really making Sunday night. Like some of the games I saw Sunday night, some of the values on Sunday night were great. This Charger-Viking game is one of those games where, it just feels like, this Charger defense is so inept. It's so painfully bad. I look at some of the schemes they run, and it just doesn't make sense. Guys are completely lost in the secondary, and to me, this Minnesota offense is humming. Kirk Cousins, you guys can say what you want about him, and I know he gets a lot of hate, and he gets a lot of, he's always been this guy, obviously in prime time, he created and carved his own reputation. But this guy's really dragged this team along with his accuracy. He's been outstanding, and I just think he should have a field day against this secondary in this game. But, when you look at this, their defense obviously not so good, and it really all comes down to the health of Minnesota's offensive line. If they get everyone back, I'm going to really probably have a big position on Minnesota this week. There's a really good chance that's going to be on my game. I know the Thursday night game we passed on for the most part, saying you kind of have to go against the public in that one when in doubt. But this one here is an example of, Minnesota as a team when they're at home, and they're so capable of kind of dictating the offensive play. And, there seems to be first downs anytime there's a third and long situation. And I like what I'm seeing from Cousins. I like what I see from the accuracy in his relationship with Jeff is just off the chart. So no matter what happens in this game, I would be stunned to see this not come down to like the fourth quarter, back and forth, and then finally seeing LA's defense, Chargers defense, just completely caving in, because it has been nothing short of abysmal. And again, like the no-shows for Khalil Mack, the no-show for Derwin James again last week. We had Tennessee last week. I know last week we went 2-3 on the week. On the Sunday, we hit us on Monday night to bail us out on our Wong teaser. So overall, my picks are 7-5 on the year. Not great, but scuffling along. First 2 weeks are always difficult, but I'm starting to really feel good about the numbers. I feel good about my lines and where I'm at in terms of research. So I do think I'm going to have a good week, and I think Minnesota's a rock-solid play, and everyone should be on that one.
451, 452 is this Chargers and Minnesota game. Obviously, just to give you some of the spreads right now, 67% of the money on Minnesota at home. 58% of the tickets, though, the spread tickets, are on the Chargers. That's an interesting split. Again, game opened pretty much Pick'em in 51, and Circa now has Pick'em and 54. Let me ask you this, Paul Nolan. This Minnesota team, as you mentioned, obviously Jefferson, 20 catches for 309 last week. But you look at what Minnesota was known for last year, 11-0 in one-score games, and now all of a sudden this year they lose to the Bucs by 3, lose to the Eagles by 6. Jefferson, obviously, despite his numbers, still lose 2 very close games. Does that creep into Kirk Cousins? Does that creep into the Vikings' mind at all, that all of a sudden, well, we went 11-0 last year, now we're 0-2. Here you have a game, the line maker puts the game at Pick'em. Obviously, you would think it's going to be another close game. Does that have any effect on a team at some point?
Yeah, you know what? Everything has an effect on a team. We see teams all the time, go into these, funks where their confidence gets obliterated. The guys just don't know where to go. They're second guessing themselves, and obviously that's the case with the Giants. We saw that ragdolled in week 1. We saw them in the first half against Arizona. We saw a team just rally. All of a sudden, it takes a little bit of confidence, and next thing you know, you're kind of getting yourself on a roll. And you saw it even with Mac Jones on, Monday night. He was dinking and dunking like he was tentatively throwing the ball, and he couldn't make a pass over 10 yards in the first half to save his life. Obviously, I think he was 0 for 10 for passes over 10 yards. And then all of a sudden he got a little confidence, got a couple plays, and, confidence is a huge thing in this league. So, do I feel like Minnesota's confidence is going to be shaken a little bit? Yeah, to a degree I do. But I guess, with Darisaw being more healthy and the offensive line is not as bad as it looked last week, I think they'll play better. And I think when you look at the slot receiver, I think Osborne is underrated. I think he's going to come alive. And TJ Hawkinson is just a guy who's so capable of completely destroying any safety he goes against. He's emerging as we speak. So I do like this game. I'm not afraid of the confidence. If they do cave in again, well, then I think it'll be a fire sale, and I think there'll be all kinds of problems around O'Donnell and his job security. I think there'll be the whispers, the murmurs, and the locker room could be on the verge of being lost somewhere along the way.
Yeah, I mean, Minnesota's got to take care of the ball inside the opponent's 25-yard line. Six fumbles so far. In 4 of them inside the 25-yard line of the opponents. I mean, it's just absolutely killed the Vikings. But listen, the Chargers have some things that can get in the back of their mind as well. They've lost 5 games while leading by double digits under Staley in 2 seasons. So they have some things that could be in the back of their mind as well. You look at what they've done, averaging 29 points, but yet they sit at 0-2 as well. So very interesting game here. 451, 452 again is your number. Chargers and Minnesota right now. Pick 'em and 54. He's Paul Nolan. I'm Damon Roberts. Make sure you check with us each and every week to break down all your Week 3 games right here, wagerweekly.com.